What's up, guys? Listen, in episode 1 I mapped out some structures I wanted to explore, and this is the first one. Now, this is an old sewing factory. It's obviously in quite a state of decay, and it's just a cool looking building, to be honest with you, and it caught my attention the first time I saw it, so I'm glad I'm able to come out here and have a look at it. Now, I think this could serve as a potential shelter site. I'm looking at it right now, and you can see it's got multiple floors. It's a huge building, so there's lots of space in there. So that's, you know, obviously you got lots of different spots you can choose to hide out in inside the building. Now, obviously, like I said, multiple floors means you can set up on a higher floor, or even up there on the roof, and have a good commanding view of the area that surrounds you. So that's another cool feature as well. But what I want to do is I want to move over here to the south side and get a better idea of the landscape, and maybe try and find some ways to actually get into this building, doors and things of that nature. So let's go ahead and roll over there. Now, this is the east side of the building here, and you can see pretty much it's a dead end on this side, secured by fence. There's really no way out. And you can see right here, there's a creek, and this could potentially, although who knows, I'm sure the water's pretty nasty in here, this could potentially serve as a way to access the building very discreetly, since you see it's way below ground level down here. So now that we're on the south side of the building, you're going to get a really good idea of the fact that this place is huge, number one. Number two, what I really like about this is it's all wide open space around me. There's no cover anywhere. So if you did have an observation post set up on the roof or on one of those higher floors, it would be nearly impossible for anybody to come across this space without being seen. So now that I've had a chance to get a better look at the building, you know, I think there's definitely some great features about it. You know, the multi-story is great. The big clear fields of view are awesome, but probably my biggest concern is the size of the building. Myself or one other person would have a very difficult time securing this building, clearing the building, and holding it. You know, it would definitely be difficult. Now, that's probably my biggest thing about the building. And then secondly, is location. It's in really downtown of my city, and there's lots of homeless shelters in the area. Obviously, I'm not the first person to be here, and I can guarantee you there's people inside that building, if not now, will be very soon, okay? Because a lot of these buildings are used by homeless people. So that's another factor to take into consideration. But knowing what I know now, I think I know enough that I could definitely make a reasonable entry and explore the building a little bit. Now, obviously, for legal purposes, we're not going to talk about that anymore, but you can probably get a good idea of how that will go down based on what we're looking at right here. So, anyways, it's time to go head out, check out the other site I've got to explore, so let's hit the road. Alright, guys, we're on the ground at the second site, except, you know, look around me. It doesn't look like there's a steel mill anywhere around, because there's not. What happened? Well, I went out to that location and found them back in operation. 100% online, new fences up, new security, people working, the whole 9 yards. Now, initially, yeah, I was definitely disappointed because it was a really good site. It had woods, it had water, the whole 9 yards. But, you know, hey, listen, I took it as a learning lesson, and the learning lesson is this. If you are going to scope out sites and choose them for future use, you got to keep tabs on them. It's really important, because somebody could purchase that property, knock down that building. Somebody could bring that property back online, refurnish it, get it back up and operational. Or, you know, hey, somebody could just be a jerk and, you know, throw a match in there and burn it down. So if you're not keeping tabs on these sites, it's possible when you actually do need to use them, go out there, it's not there, or it's not usable, you know, and that would be an unfortunate turn of events. So anyways, it's all good. Obviously, I got backups. There's tons of great sites out here, and so we're at my backup location, which actually I think is probably going to turn out a bit better than the steel mill. As you can probably figure, due to the fact that I'm standing in the middle of the road, this road is shut down. It got shut down about 6 months ago due to new construction going on, and I don't foresee it ever opening up again. So that's a nice little area back here that's just completely sealed off. Now, there's woods to my left, and the area back there, I've reconned it already a while back, and you know, it's really cool. You know, I've seen deer in there, turkey, lots of natural resources, a large water source flows through there. So it's looking like a good site that I can use. Now, about a quarter mile up the road from where we're at right now is an abandoned building outside of an industrial complex. So we're going to check that out. We're going to do a quick recon of the woods, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's get the show on the road. Alright, so we're just going to push through the woods here. Stumbled on this game trail, which I'm going to use. Just going to have a quick look around. Alright, so I pushed in about maybe 400 meters into the woods, and I'm really running into evidence of this tent right here. And whatever the hell this is going on here. And somebody had this set up for whatever reason. Homeless person, somebody just out here camping. Who knows? I would imagine probably a homeless person. I don't know. But anyways, you can see there's some canned food items out here. They're fairly fresh. Soda cans. So definitely evidence of somebody setting up a shelter site out here. So I find that to be interesting. But anyways, beyond that, we got Large Creek down here that I was talking about, and definitely substantial. I mean, you definitely get something going on here. You got lots of water. And I'm sure, definitely, I don't know how big the fish would be in here, but they definitely might be big enough to eat. So one other thing I'm looking at and seeing here, I don't fall down this embankment and kill myself, is check this out. Whoever set up that little operation that I just showed you has got this going on over here. Now, I don't know what the purpose of doing this little dam here, maybe to divert water to catch fish. I have no idea, but I was out here about 6 months ago and saw no evidence of this. So it's interesting, you know. I'm not the only person thinking about wooded areas as shelter sites, obviously. So it's good knowledge to just take note of and keep in the reference book, right? Now, right back there is the trail that I took in, and now that I see this whole structure set up here and whatever there was going on, I know that what I came in on was indeed not a game trail, but definitely a path made by humans. And then here's an exit right here. You see this? So, you know, one way into the campsite and then another way out, which I like. Anyways, I like what I see here. I like what's been going on. Got that nice big water source out here. Fairly easy to access this area. Actually, extremely easy and very low profile. So, now that we checked that out, let's go check out that abandoned structure over by the industrial complex I talked about. So, I've been checking out this house now for maybe the last 15 or 20 minutes. It's a nice little spot, I'm not going to lie. Like I mentioned earlier, it's on the outside of an industrial complex, so the traffic to this area is either minimal through traffic from people just cutting around some major roads, or it's just people working in this area. And to be honest with you, the majority of the industry in this specific area, the company and stuff, are shut down. There's only like 2 or 3 in operation, and that's it. So it's a nice quiet area. This house is, I don't know, let me look, maybe 300 meters off the main road. And pretty well secluded. If you're driving by and you're not looking for it, you're definitely not going to see it, just due to the height of all the weeds that are growing up in this field. So I like that about this location as well too. Now you can see behind me, windows have been busted out, and then somebody has boarded up the property. And you know, if you need to get in here, I don't see it being a problem, you know. But the thing is that I really want to stress, guys, and I've got to say this, is the fact that you see what I'm doing out here. Do you see me going inside any of these buildings or anything like that at all? No, because that's called trespassing. So if you want to be an idiot and you want to catch a trespassing charge and a fine, whatever the case is, go for it. But don't say I encourage you, because I don't need to go in these buildings. I have no desire to trespass. I can get enough information from the outside to say, you know what, hey, this is going to be a good site, or maybe it's not going to be a good site. So I had to get that out of the way. One thing to mention is it's really important to keep a field notebook with you when you go out to check out these sites, just to take note of what they got going on out here. You know, we see there's a couple fire extinguishers. Looks like there's a couple propane tanks here. Then in the back you got paint cans. There's a gas can back there. All stuff that you can use in a survival situation. So always take note of these things. Alright guys, let's wrap this up. I think I've collected enough information on this site and that wooded area we're at to be able to make up a good site survey of all the locations we've checked out in this video. Now listen, I want to make it very, very clear that when you're checking out these sites, yes, of course, rate them for, you know, a shelter type of situation, but also think about it from the standpoint of maybe using them as a stash site, you know, because think about it. In a hypothetical shit hit the fan scenario, you really want all your beans and your bullets and your guns and all that kind of stuff stored at your primary residence? Hell no, because if that spot gets compromised, then you're screwed. Sure, you can have some of these places set up, but you're going to go there and all you're going to have is what you can carry on your back, and that doesn't sound like a good option to me. So when you're thinking about these sites, think about them from that perspective as well. Another factor, and a very important factor that you want to consider about these sites, is the fact that they need to be within a decent distance of each other. Now, I'm not talking like they need to be a 5-minute walk away. If that's the case, you know, maybe they're a little bit too close together. I'm talking more like, let me get on my bike and let me ride for maybe 15 minutes and boom, I'm at the other site. Now, why is this? There's a few really important reasons. First of all, am I going to want to use this structure as a permanent residence? No, that's a terrible idea. Why? Because a few factors. At some point in time, somebody's going to smell you cooking food in there. Somebody's probably going to see evidence of a fire. How are you going to control that light? How are you going to control the smell? How are you going to go to the bathroom? How are you going to dispose of your waste? Sooner or later, dogs will probably figure out you're there and make way too much noise and freak you out, and you're going to have to bail out anyway. So when you're thinking of these places and you're writing up your site surveys, think about them as just, you know, a temporary spot. You stay maybe one night at one location and you move to another one, and so on and so forth. They're just basically a safe house, and that's really all there is to it. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Now, I was thinking about the whole, you know, concept of concealing the light and the noise and the smells and all that kind of stuff. I think it'd probably be a good idea to jump on Google and poke around a little bit, maybe read some biographies from snipers who've operated in urban environments, see how they handle that, see how they handle going to the bathroom, eating, things of that nature, and you'll probably be able to learn a little bit that could be applicable out here in a hypothetical survival scenario. Alright, so that's it. Make sure you stay tuned for episode 3. I'm going to break down my urban survival, aka vulture kit. I'm going to show you guys all the cool gadgets I got in there. I got some lock picks, I got some breaching tools, I got a homemade gas siphon kit that I put together because I tried out the one that I purchased and it just didn't cut it for me. So click that sub button, stay tuned for episode 3. In the meantime, I'm going to have to get out of here before I get freaking soaked. So you guys know the drill. Get out there and train, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.